MotorCast, the latest in automotive news, brought to you each and every Thursday by Diesel Up. Brett Wood here with you. A big-time trend up in Detroit. General Motors announced the recall of 7.6 million additional vehicles sold in the U.S. 7.6 million, and all of them related to this ignition switch problem. 7.6, a lot, yes, but you take a look at the bigger number, the entire number. All of the recalls added up, and where does GM sit? The number is a staggering 28.6 million units. Almost 30 million cars in between 1997 and 2014 have something wrong with them. But what is it? What cars are affected? And more importantly, what exactly is the problem? 7.6 million vehicles in North America are being recalled for unintended ignition key rotation, and 6.8 million of these are in the United States, along with another 554,000 with a variant of the issue. But the ignition switch problem isn't the only thing that GM has under its belt. The Chevy Silverado and the GMC Sierra. Wiring systems becoming overloaded and catching on fire. And the way that they word some of these recalls is truly magnificent. The Buick Rainier, Chevy Trailblazer, GMC Envoy, Saab 97X. Here's the quote. A possible electrical short in the driver's door module that could disable the power door lock and window switches and in rare cases overheat the module, which can cause a fire. We mentioned a couple weeks ago the Escalade was underneath of this recall as well. The airbag module is secured to a chute to the backside of the instrument panel, and it was installed with a wrong part. That means if it deploys, it might not deploy all the way. Brand new 2014 Buick LaCrosse. Granted, only 8,200 of these cars have gotten recalled, but apparently the brake pads can detach from the caliper. Brand new 2014 Chevy Silverado. An issue where the front tie rod can separate, preventing the driver from steering the vehicle. And the Saab 9-3, years ranging from 2004 to 2009, the seatbelt tensioner can actually wear down on this vehicle. And you know, sometimes when you hit your brakes and the seatbelt stops you from lunging forward, that can go bad. Now what do we mention here? 7 cars maybe? And they make up a pretty good deal of this entire recall list. But barely scratching the surface of how many cars have actually been affected by all of these recalls. And of course, we'll go back and mention, it's not just the ignition switch issue. On some cars, the wheels can go bad, the electrical system, the brakes, the airbags, steering. That's basically the whole car. So we take a look at the big picture here. General Motors is really in a bad spot right now. How are they supposed to take 29 million cars and fix them all? It is going to cost millions upon millions of dollars. It might even crack the billion mark. And with the pattern of events that GM has been going through, you could only assume that more cars are going to be coming in to be fixed. So in the coming weeks, my projections will see this recall list go up over 30 million cars. And if you're searching for light at the end of your tunnel, let's hope you're not driving a GM. Well, all right, our summer car care trend continues, and Pamela Oakes is joining us again. We spoke with her a couple of weeks ago, and she is actually the author of Car Care for the Clueless. You can also check her out online, carcarefortheclueless.com. She's an ASE certified technician and a 4th-generation mechanic, basically an automotive guru, and she's back with us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's fantastic to have you back, and we got more car stuff that we got to talk about because the 4th of July is coming up this weekend. A lot of people are going to be hitting the streets. What type of components are the most important to a vehicle's lifespan?
Well, you know, a lot of people will say it's the tires. Other people will say brakes are the most important part of the car because if you're not moving and the car doesn't start, nobody can get hurt.
Right.
Well, brakes, of course, and tires. You're moving, you have an issue, you could have a very serious problem. But overall, you know, the consumer really needs to just do the basic maintenance. That's the whole key behind automotive longevity. Basic maintenance. Make sure the fluid levels are topped off. There's air in the tires. Make sure you're doing your service when you need to do your service. That's the whole key right there. When you catch things early, you hear a little noise, a little squeak from the brake pad, so on and so forth. Do it early. It's cheap compared to when you're being brought in on a tow truck, on a hook, and you're paying because that little squeak dominoed into something really expensive.
Absolutely, and towing is not cheap. But how often should we get these components inspected?
Well, I always recommend having a really good inspection when you have your service, your oil change. You know, have the brakes checked. They're rotating the tires anyway, and the brakes are right there behind the rim. That's
Pam Oakes, ASE certified technician and 4th-generation mechanic. You can hear the full interview just below. MotorCast brought to you each and every Thursday by our good friends out at Diesel Up. Had a sit down with Pat Heisel the other day. That's the big name down at Diesel Up. And he did tell me, and I was rather happy to hear this, it's not all about diesel out at 3247 Commerce Drive in Newburgh. They can handle fixing you up with what you need on your gasoline engines, too. Nor is it all about trucks. They can hook you up on your car, too. Summer dyno days are coming up quick, and we plan on seeing everybody out at the Diesel Up Garage, 3247 Commerce Drive in Newburgh, Indiana, on July 18th and 19th from 10 a.m. until 8. Bring your ride down and get set up on the chassis dyno, 3 pulls for $75, and enjoy food and a raffle, with all proceeds donated to Trucks for Kids. Check them out online, diesel-up.com, and on Facebook, facebook.com/dieselup. So if you drive a General Motors product ranging from 1997 until 2014, be sure and get it checked out. That'll do it for this week on MotorCast, brought to you by Diesel Up right here on WBKR.com.